While it's really easy to develop bad habits with just life in general, I find that developing bad money habits is especially easy. For me, that comes with impulsive shopping at Target and not really investing my money the way that I should. And so I wanted to share 15 bad money habits that I have either broken or am working to break with you guys today. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. I'm doing another finance related video today because I have been watching so many of these as we are saving for a down payment on a house, thinking about buying a house. I've really been trying to think of just better ways to be better with our money and thinking about old habits that weren't that great. I've also been watching a ton of YouTube on this topic. I've been watching a lot of Allison Anderson as well as Ashley Eaton, two of my favorite YouTubers. And so I'd say that this video is definitely inspired by them, but it's on 15 bad money habits that I have broken or I am working to break. So this isn't something where I am seeming like I'm above these things, seeming like I am past these things. All of our financial journeys are just always ebbing and flowing and growing. And so these are things that I'm still working on, but also a few things that I feel like I have been a lot better at. If you enjoy, feel free to let me know down below and subscribe to stay tuned. I also want to say that I know not everyone is in the place where they can invest or save a certain amount. And so take these things with a grain of salt. I know that everything is different for everyone and not everyone's in the same financial place. I never want to come off as a certain way and just seem like out of touch. So I just wanted to say that from the beginning. The first bad money habit that I feel like I have broken at this point is being too scared to invest in the stock market. When I was younger and I started making more money, I always thought that, okay, I need to save all this money. I need to put it in my checking account. I want to hide it away, put it under my bed so it never goes away. But honestly, with inflation and just how much your money can work for you when you're actually investing in the stock market, and money that you could actually lose too, depending on how you invest it, it makes a lot of sense to invest in the stock market. I don't really check this very often because obviously with retirement, you're kind of playing the long game. But when I look in here, I started this when I was about 18 and I'm 23 now. So it's been about 5 years. And this has a total gain of about 32%. And I would say that's pretty in line with average because I make very conservative average contributions. I don't really do a lot of risk taking in my IRA for obvious reasons. We also have our individual investment account, which is just like our cash that we invest. That's not retirement. And that one will do a little bit more risky investments. And that one has gained about 35%. So it has a bit more of a total gain, but all that is to say that it's not something to be scared of. You can always get an advisor if you don't want to be the one making the investments, but there are a ton of free resources out there if you want to learn more about investing. Number 2 is impulse buying clothes. This is another one that I think I have mostly kind of broken, but ever since moving back to Texas from New York, I really have bought a lot less clothes. I'm not surrounded by clothing stores, and I pretty much know that that item is going to bring me joy for about a day, and then I'm going to be back to where I was before. And so impulse buying clothes is something that I just don't really love to do anymore. I find that it doesn't bring me as much happiness as it used to, and I think that a lot of the things I want in life aren't material the older that I get. Something that I just started doing was actually renting clothes. I use a service called Newly. They're really great. You can rent like 6 items a month. It's actually one of the things I'm wearing today because I do still love fashion and I love to put together outfits, but I don't like having a lot of stuff. And so I've been liking trying them. I'll have them down below. It is a referral credit. Everyone gets one. You get like $10 off. And I think it's a really great service if you're someone who finds that you like fashion, you like styling clothes, but you don't necessarily want to have a bunch of stuff. Resisting investing in my business. So this is one that I'm still working on because there is the saying that you got to spend money to make money. And there's also the one from Warren Buffett that says the best investment you can make is one in yourself. And I think that's so true. I do YouTube and Instagram as a full-time job, which is so cool. But there are a lot of times when it makes more sense to actually invest money into this, whether that be buying stuff for a video, whether that be hiring someone for help. I got a manager in 2020 and they manage a lot of my brand partnerships. And while they're taking a cut of the money I make on here, it just makes more sense because they're able to get more done and I can have more time to film videos, to work on my podcast, work on Instagram and TikTok. Just looking back over the past year of 2021, after having a manager for a full year, I know that I've made significantly more than I made the year before because I was able to do more through them, get higher rates, and that definitely pays off in the end. Resisting getting a credit card. So this is the biggest one for me. I've talked about this a lot, but I'm someone who likes to buy things in cash. I'd rather save up, and obviously that's not feasible for everything in life. Can't really do that with a house for the most part. You just have to have a credit score. Like, it's just part of life, and I have been trying to be better at actually using a credit card, paying it off, figuring out the best way to use it in a way that our credit score is gonna go up. So when we're ready to buy a house, we can. This is something I'm still learning about, so I can't really speak to a lot, but there's a lot of resources out there if you're trying to learn more about using credit cards, which one is the best for you. Not canceling subscriptions. So this is one that kind of my eyes were open to recently because our debit card actually got hacked. And so we had to transfer all of our automatic subscription fixed costs to a new card. And I remember our bank just sent us a list of all of them, and I was like, oh my goodness, there are so many things that I'm subscribed to that I don't even use. So I really think it's helpful to go through and just cancel things that you're not using. And it's actually really easy to do if you have Apple ones on your phone. If you just want to see what you're subscribed to on your phone, you can go to your settings on your iPhone, go to search, go to subscriptions, and you can see what's active and automatically cancel. I did that recently and I was like, oh my goodness, there's a lot of things on here that I don't actually use. Making emotional purchases. This is a huge one because I have learned that I am more likely to buy things when I'm hungry, when I am in a bad mood, when I'm feeling really down and I want to be fulfilled through buying something, even if it's just something stupid at Target. I am so much more likely to purchase things when I'm just not in a great headspace. And so before I make a purchase, I try to make sure it's not an emotional one by taking time before making it, by especially talking about it with my husband now. It's been really helpful within a marriage to do that. Number 7 is just thinking that more money was gonna make me happier. I know there's a statistic that says once you make, I think around like 65,000, I think it actually went up to around 75,000, your happiness actually decreases the more you make. And I don't really know how true that is. I do think that money can make your life a lot easier if you're living in a safe area, if you feel like you have all the food that you need, if you have all the clothing you need, if you have kids and you feel like your kids are living a secure, well life, then yeah, money is really great for that. But as a freelancer, there are months when I make more, there are months when I make less. And so I can really kind of see, was I actually happier than when I was making more? And I can confirm that it's not true. I am ultimately fulfilled by my relationships, by my spiritual life, with my relationship with God, with the people that I have around me, feeling like I am living a healthy lifestyle. Like, those things make me happy. Just having all this money isn't actually going to make me any better of a person, any happier of a person. Not being on the same page in my relationship with money. So ever since getting married, and because we combined finances, it was really weird at the start to feel like you're spending someone else's money, to not really know your money spending habits. But I can say once we actually got on the same page and had a budget, kind of knew the price point where we wanted to check in, like, hey, is it okay if I buy this, if it's a certain price range, and just feeling that out can really help a lot. And just having regular check-ins about money. There will be times when we're just spending more than I feel comfortable with, even if it's within the budget, and I'll be like, hey, let's scale things back, let's talk about this. We actually read this book before we got married, and I think it was really helpful. It's called The Heart of Money, A Couple's Guide to Creating True Financial Intimacy, and I love this book. I'll have it linked down below. I think it's really helpful if you're getting married, or even if you're just in a long-term relationship and you want to be serious about money. Needing new decor for every season. So this is what I'm struggling with right now, because I want to go buy all the pumpkins, buy all the fall decor, feel all the vibes, and I probably will buy some things because I think that that's totally fine to do that. But I think when it comes to spending money, I've just learned for me that buying new decor specifically doesn't really bring me as much happiness as opposed to having people over to our house and hosting people and making a really good meal and eating it together. Like, those things matter more. Again, the things that aren't material. I struggle with this because I know I would love to have some pumpkins up there. That's like literally where I want to put them, because I think that would be really pretty in my videos. So there is a balance, but again, going back to not needing to be fulfilled through buying things. Resisting small purchases today for bigger purchases down the road. So for this specifically, I think a good example is pet insurance. Sometimes it covers things, sometimes it doesn't, but I would rather pay $10 a month than $5,000 at once if our dog gets sick. And so I think in life, you kind of have to learn which things are worth paying those small costs monthly if they are going to negate those long-term purchases down the road. Not meal prepping, so this is a big one. I have always been the kind of person who would buy all the lettuce. I always see those Instagram reels and TikToks where it's like the girl buys the bag of lettuce and then it sits in the fridge and it rots. I totally relate to that. And so something I started doing the past couple months is just chopping up produce and actually having it cut up, because I'm much more likely to actually eat it that way. And that has helped a lot. It's saved money. It's made sure that we had fresh stuff in the fridge. And I think that that is just a good principle for life. Just prepping things so you actually use them rather than being wasteful with them. Thinking of every area of my life as an investment rather than prioritizing. There's a train of thought that you should invest in the things that are really important to you, but the issue becomes when everything is important to you. Like for me, I like nice workouts, I like nice food, I like nice clothes, I like nice home decor. Like I love it all, and I could spend on all of it and assume it was a priority. And there were times in my life when I did do that and I just spent more than I needed to. I know we've been spending a lot on traveling, and also we've been taking these F45 workout classes because we really like those. It's a bonding thing for the two of us, and it's also good for our health, which is a good investment. You have to pick areas of your life to invest in, but not assume that it's all an investment, because that's when you get caught in lifestyle inflation, lifestyle creep, not breaking up our bank accounts. I talked about this on my video about how we save $50,000. It has been so helpful to break out our bank accounts into our checking account, which is just all those budgeted expenses that we have. And then we have one that's for rent, we have one for taxes, we have one for savings, and then we have our credit card, and then we also have our investments through Fidelity. And it's so helpful to have everything broken out. And I got some questions on how we actually did this. I just called up my bank. We have separate checking accounts for each of these, and that is how I separated it out. You can literally do it online for most banks, and it's so helpful. So when I get paid, when Aiden gets paid, we will go ahead and just move the money over to rent where it needs to be. We'll usually have 2 months of rent in there at all times, just to know that we're okay for the next couple of months, which we obviously have our emergency fund and everything, but it's just nice to kind of set that aside ahead of time rather than just keeping it in your checking account and being like, oh, I have that money set aside, but it's also there if you really want to spend a lot on an item one day. Allowing websites to remember your card info. This is a dangerous one for me. When I am late night shopping and I'm watching a YouTube video and someone shares something and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cute, and my card info is already saved. And honestly, I do usually remember my card info as is, which is kind of dangerous too. Try not to let your browsers remember your card. This is also a safety thing. It's a lot easier to get your card hacked, as we have learned recently. So just try to only input your card info when you're making that purchase and when you've thought about it. And the last one is just avoiding reality. And when I think about this one, I always think about the scene from Confessions of a Shopaholic. This is one of my favorite movies. Me and my mom always love watching this movie, but there's the scene where she's been racking up all these credit card bills and she hasn't opened any of them. She finally sits down, she opens up all of the bills, and she's shocked by what she sees. I have a personality where I like to avoid things when they seem scary. When I was younger, I would just avoid checking my grades online because I was too nervous to see what I got on a test. Think of the worst case scenario and just confront your fears. Confront the bills that you've been avoiding. Sit down and see your budget. See if you're actually gonna have the money saved that you said you're gonna have saved, and just work through it. I know from personal experience that it's never as bad as it may seem in the moment, especially when you have help. It's why I love having financial intimacy within marriage, because it's so nice when you have someone else there who can work through those things with you when you are a team. So I'd recommend just sitting down, facing the facts, and getting through it. Those are all my bad money habits. Let me know down below which one you maybe resonated with the most, or if you have one personally that you wanted to share. I'd love to hear it down below. I always love to hear your feedback. And yeah, I know money can be scary, but I know that these videos have been really helpful for me when I'm in my 20s trying to figure things out. So I hope it's helpful. I am so thankful for you guys for watching this, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye, friends.